In this tutorial, we're going to look at the compare and contrast question, which could be asked on Unit 2 or Unit 3 of the GCSE English Language papers. With this question, you'll be typically presented with two texts, which will be linked by the same topic or theme. In this case, we've got the question, compare what we learn about the Tawe Wildlife Reserve and how the writers present their ideas. So we've got two texts which cover a very, very similar topic. Now with compare and contrast, the use of connectives, linking phrases is going to be really important. And we've got a list here of particularly useful connectives. On the left-hand side, we've got connectives like similarly, likewise, equally, and by the same token, all phrases which point out comparisons and similarities between ideas. And then on the right-hand side, we've got contrasting connectives, like on the other hand, conversely, however, and although, which can be used to emphasize points of contrast. So these are useful to make a note of when tackling this kind of question. If we look back at the two texts, we've got The Lion King by Georgie Thompson and South Africa's Animal Rescue by Bryn Collins. Both of these texts looking at the work of the Tawe Wildlife Reserve. And that needs to be our focus when we're looking for evidence to respond to the question. So in text A, we've got the idea that Tawe Wildlife Reserve offers a very natural habitat, whereas in text B, it's revealed that the reserve helps rescued animals recover from ill treatment. So we've got slightly different perspectives there on the same institution. And what's really important is that you can see that we're highlighting from each of the relevant texts. Thompson goes on to say in text A that Tawe Wildlife Reserve helps remind you of your place in the world, that you get up close and personal with the animals. She comments on how she saw lions stalk, sleep and eat. Text B again talks about getting up close and personal with the animals, so we have a point of similarity here. A reminder of why we'd gone there when they see an oryx in its natural habitat. What's important here is you can see there's a balance between looking at each of the texts. If we look back at the question, compare what we learn about the Tawe Wildlife Reserve. So we look at an example response here. So we've got text A focuses on the wonder and awe Thompson feels at Tawe. She states that there is absolutely nothing like a safari holiday to remind you of your place in the world, clearly revealing how she has been inspired by her visit. On the other hand, Collins, in text B, describes Tawe as a rare mixture of luxury game park and animal sanctuary, focusing on how the park helps animals in need of preservation. So if we zoom in on what we've done with this response, clearly it's important to identify and label which text that you are commenting on, and that helps you get a balance of coverage between the texts too. We've also, like in lots of other question types, a really important job of embedding evidence to illustrate your understanding of the question that you are quoting from each of the texts. And that we are using connectives in this particular response to link ideas from the text together. So we are actually using the skill of compare and contrast to look at both texts through the same lens. And finally, that we are still, and this is really important in the compare question, that we are still analysing, we are still providing focused explanations which respond to the demands of the question. So we're commenting that text A, Thompson reveals how she's been inspired by Tawe, whereas in text B, Collins is focusing on how the animal reserve helps those animals in need. So to recap with the compare and contrast question, Some top tips. This question tends to be at the very end of the reading section. Tends to be a high tariff question, so you need to make sure you have time to do it because it will usually be worth 10 marks. You need to read the question carefully. It's not just a straightforward compare and contrast. You'll be asked to compare and contrast something quite specific. You need to make sure you spend an equal amount of time on all of the texts in the question so that there's an equal coverage of the text provided, that it's not biased towards one text or another. You need to make it clear which text you're writing about. So text A states, or use the writer's name, so Thompson says. You need to support all of your points with quotations. Like I pointed out earlier, you need to use comparing and contrasting connectives, which will help indicate to the examiner that you've understood the demands of the question. And with this particular question, you really need to avoid giving your own opinion. You should be focusing on what the text are trying to present. So those are the top tips for the compare and contrast question.